I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I've, as you know, I'm a wanderer, and I literally checked in, put some lipstick on, and came right out. So we are continuing with my promise. I won't be here very long because I need to be in the House of Swans at 6 o'clock, and this time I'm not going to stay longer than I should because I know I love to hang out with you, beautiful, beautiful ladies. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Hello, hello. Oh dear, okay. Uh-oh, okay. Alrighty. So, we're talking about the test. Hello, hello, hello. I said I'll be back on Thursday to complete. Truth is, it's a subject that I will not be able to completely complete. I'll probably be, unless I keep doing this every single week, and then you're gonna get bored. Hi. Hi, say yes to heaven. Good to see you. Okay, so last week, I'm going to go straight into it because it's a conversation we've been having, okay? And it was so good to see you girls coming into the House of Swans. It was so cool because I'm having a conversation with you here, and then I'm in the House of Swans and you're there. Perfection. So let's keep getting in there. It's 7 days free trial on School. All you have to do is follow the link if you're watching on Instagram on my bio. And if you're on YouTube, it's in the description under this video. And I will be in the House of Swans answering some questions. And if I have time, I might even answer some while I'm here. Does that sound good? Oh, and happy Thanksgiving to our American friends. I'm sure you're all stuffing yourself and taking care and enjoying family. And if you're not, and you're watching this, then I'm saving you, aren't I? It's fun times. This is my favorite time of the year. So now we spoke about the authentic attraction. Do you have, men are going to test you to see if you have genuine attraction to them or to the lifestyle they provide or to the things that they give, right? So that's the authentic attraction test. If you weren't there, you can go and watch the replay. The second one is an attitude test. What attitude do you have around patience? Do you have patience with him? What's your attitude with him when he's not always perfect? So he's going to see how patient you are by pressing against some boundaries. Today we're talking about the loyalty test, okay? The loyalty test is one of the things that we have to understand about men and loyalty. Now, loyalty for us is don't be out here sleeping with nobody, cheating on me, acting some kind of way. Hello, Coach Nadine. Thank you for putting the link in the thingamajig. Could you do that on YouTube as well, please? Thank you. Our test is don't cheat on me, don't embarrass me, fine. With men, loyalty, yes, looks like that, but it has multiple factors. It's will you stay respectful even when times are hard? That's a loyalty test for him. So even when he's being things are not great in the relationship, maybe the money's funny, maybe he's just not operating at 100% lover boy energy or the kind of lover boy energy that you have for him, or maybe you're even having an argument, will you show him respect? Will you complain? Loyalty for them is, if we're going through a hard time or a difficult time, are you a complainer or are you going to start comparing him to other men? So this is some of their fears. So loyalty isn't just about, I don't want her to go cheat. It's about, will she start saying, so-and-so's husband does so-and-so for him? Or that's the comparison. Or, oh, I don't like things. I'm complaining. He's going to test that. He's going to test if you defend him when he's not there. He's going to test if things are rough, are you going to start seeking attention from other men? Are you going to start going out more? He's testing these on a very micro level. And I think I've got a reel on here that goes deeper into that. Loyalty for men is, if we are out and we're having a conversation and everybody's making fun of me, are you going to join in? Are you going to join in and make fun of me? Okay. And some of those things we share, But these are things, before a man commits to you, you have to pass the loyalty test. You have to show him, and he's gonna create a situation where maybe you are always going somewhere really special all the time. You'd have like, he'd take you on nice dates and spend a lot of money, and then this time he just takes you somewhere a bit regular, or let's just go off to whatever is a regular restaurant, maybe somewhere that it's not necessarily fast food, but it's kind of regular chain restaurant, maybe, whatever. And if he was whatever, he's just gonna give you a bit less, and then he's gonna see how you behave. I'm not saying this is how he's gonna do it. I'm giving an example of a way, but men will do it in various ways. A healthy masculine man who is competent and capable, that means he's got his finances in order, his life is good. He's not gonna do these aggressive hazing type of tests, okay? He's not just gonna take you from a lifestyle that you become accustomed with him, that he created with you, and take you to the dumps. Those are kind of a bit extreme, and they're usually done by men whose resources are not particularly stable, or they feel insecure about their resources, or men who just generally have insecurity, men who don't necessarily know if they like women, I don't know. Like, the harsher the test, the more obvious the test, the lesser the quality of the man. I was having this conversation with a colleague. He's a guy, and we go back and forth and back and forth. And it always comes down to the quality of the man. It comes down to the quality of the man. It comes down to the depth of, and when I say quality of the man, I'm not talking about his bank account. I'm talking about his emotional intelligence, if he's done any work at all on himself. Now, when we meet those unicorns, okay, when we meet those men who have high emotional intelligence, competent, capable, masculine energy men, you have to be very careful when you are at your most comfortable, because these men are highly observant. They don't test in aggressive ways. They don't test in obvious ways. They don't test in ways where you feel it, like when we're dealing with men who are like waiting for you to pay or offer to pay, or all these little tests. The bill is sitting there a while and he's looking at you, you're looking at him, you're looking at it. All of those low value, I haven't really worked on my emotions, I'm afraid I'm going to get used for my money that I don't really have enough of, and all of that stuff. When you kind of find that you are being tested in a really aggressive way, usually that guy has a deep insecurity, either financially or emotionally. But the guys who are established, men who know who they are, have a great sense of identity, they're masculine, they're not afraid of being used because they have enough. Dinner is not a flex. They were probably going to eat there anyway. Like they were going to have dinner there anyway. That's kind of where they had dinner. They were probably going to spend time there anyway. So they're not going to test you in ways that seem obvious. But the danger with them, if you like, or the concern with them, if you like, or the thing you need to watch out for, if you like, is that they're going to make you very comfortable. You're going to feel really comfortable. And this is why, girls, we shouldn't drink on dates. And if you are a drinking girl, if you're a little fish and you like to chuck them, right? I would advise not to do that. And I've done a few videos on my channel, I might do a few, about the kind of etiquette that actually alerts a man very quickly if you're a wife or not. One of those things is a drinker. A woman that can chug it down, a woman that can guzzle a whole bottle is gonna signal to the man, there's no higher signal, trust, especially with quality men, with a woman that either has one drink and nurses it for the whole day and maybe has some water with it, maybe two, depending on the vibe. 2 drinks maximum. 2 drinks maximum. I, for one, do not drink on dates. Period. I don't drink on dates because Once your guard is down, you're going to betray yourself way quicker. Once your guard is down, and these men, they watch like hawks. The quality high-end guys, they watch you like a hawk. And they will have you laughing, they'll have you smiling. And they're just recording data. They're asking you questions, you're chill, and you're not on your game. You are so, and if you're one of these girls who's not used to being treated well, okay, definitely don't drink. Okay, like, and I'm not trying to be funny, but if you are just not the girl that men treat well, as in put their best foot forward for, the kind of girl that when a man meets you, he just will never arrange anything less than something impressive for you. If you've never been spoiled by a man and this is your first time, just really, a virgin mojito is fine. Okay, because you're already going to be stimulated by the environment. You're already going to be so impressed by the environment. You're already going to be nervous because you're not used to this kind of treatment, or you're not used to this environment. So you're already going to have, you're going to be wired. And the last thing you need is to drink. I know a person, and when they get anxious in spaces that they're not comfortable in, they just drink and no matter how much I tell them, they're not a client, because if they were, I'd have sacked them. Men are very judgy. Men are highly judgmental. And I teach this in the Mastering Attraction Masterclass. And we can talk about this in the House of Swans if you've got a personal situation. We can talk about it, and if I've got time, I can answer a few questions as well while I'm here. These are things that I teach the girls in the House of Swans, because men are very judgy. Men make very quick judgments. Why? Because the risk for them is way higher than for us. You can afford to give a man 3 dates because you're not paying for them. If you're dating properly, if you're dating like a high value woman, you're not paying for them. So you can afford to give a man 3 dates. He can't afford to give you 3 dates if you're a dud. You know, if you have no class, if you've got no decorum, if you're going to embarrass him, he just is not going to keep investing finances and time and effort into you, okay? And if you want to be the girl that men treat really well, if you want to be the girl who you go online dating, your first date is in a beautiful restaurant, and he's really made a plan, and he's excited about the plans, and he's confirming the plans, you need to be in the House of Swans, okay? Because I can tell you something, if you're dating properly with the right guidance, men are just gonna treat you nice, because we're gonna sort out your dating app profile, we're gonna tell you what to say, we're gonna pick your pictures, and we're gonna teach you how to talk, how to be, so that you get used to the best treatment from men. That's not to say if he invites you on a coffee that you shouldn't go, but even if you go there, you should leave such an impression that he knows he's never ever gonna not invest in you, okay? That's something that you can learn. You don't have to endure the dating that you have. I have a client who, her first date, before she joined, all her dates, men would take her to the park. The final straw for her that brought her to the Black Swan was when she met a guy in the park, and he was telling her all the money that he's making and the deal that he made that day and how much money he made. And they went to get a burger because she was hungry. He paid for his burger, made her pay for hers. And she was livid. And I think that's the first time she was like, why does this keep happening to me? Why can I never be the kind of woman that men just want to invest in? And just the other day, I was laughing with her because she's got all these dates at all these Italian restaurants, and they're first dates. And these men are just spoiling her and planning and paying. And I said to her, listen, do you remember where you came from? And she couldn't even remember, right? And it's just about the transformation. It's just about committing to an education, being in a space and a place where we teach you how to date like the kind of woman the men have to invest in. Men are very smart. They're gonna see your level very quickly from the way that you speak, the way you use your language, the way you move, the way you use your body, everything. They're just gonna know, they're gonna know. I don't I've always said to people, I don't get invited to coffee dates or anything, and I'm not, I don't know. It doesn't happen to me. So I know how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. My coaches know how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. But if I know girls who love a good coffee date, I love girls who like to walk. If that's you and that's authentically something that you find attractive, that you need to build your attraction, good for you. Okay? So these are, this is the test. So in good company might leave you with his friends and, see, and maybe his friends might be joking and laughing and and making fun of him. Are you the girl that's gonna be like, no, not my Johnny. My Johnny's like really smart. My Johnny's really sweet. No, I won't. I'm not joining in that. He's amazing. You gotta be that girl. Okay? Don't be the girl that joins his guy friends and start teasing him because somebody told you it's sexy. Because I'm not saying, look, I've said this before and I've had girls say to me, oh, why are men so sensitive? They're so sensitive like little baby boys. Girls, don't exasperate me, okay? I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you win in the game of love. And may I say, in the decade I have been helping women attract love, emotionally available love, get married, be happy. In the 10 plus years I've been doing this, okay? One of the things I can tell you is that dating has for sure become more complex, and marriage is now a luxury item. I used to get these girls like that because when I started, red pill, blue pill, yellow pill, orange pill, I don't know, all the pills, they didn't exist. Men still believed in the wonderfulness of women, and men were still in that, women are just so lovely. And all I had to do with my clients was to give them a mini transformation, tweak them, fix them, put it together, tell them what to say, send them text messages, and kind of teach them how to be, and they'll get married. In the generation we're in, this generation, especially if you live in the West, marriage is now a luxury item. So if you think you're going to do what your aunties did and you're going to go to your auntie and your best friend for advice, stop it. I am telling you that in the next few years, everyone will have a dating coach. You're going to need it because way too much information out there, way too much noise, and it literally is a luxury item. Men just don't marry like they used to. And if a man is going to marry you, you have to be exceptional. And when I say exceptional, I mean exceptional. A man now would rather move in with you. He'll take care of you. He'll pay all the bills, blah, blah, blah. Some men have even told me they would, if she's an African woman or a woman with a strong culture or whatever, they'll do all of the things, but they're not signing a contract. Because women are still operating as though men are still the way men used to be. We're still behaving as though men are still men have changed, men have evolved, men have grown, and men who have worked hard to create a life that they love and want to invite a woman into it. It's not going to be you, miss, I'm making it up along the way. It's not going to be you, miss, I saw that reel and I'm going to try it on gym. It's not going to be you. It's going to be my girls. I'm telling you right now, we're going to clean the market of all the good men, and you're going to be on your own watching reels from your favorite coach, whoever that is. Okay? Because it's time to play. Women have never needed to be as competitive in the marketplace as they need to be now. And I'm not talking about men like women of all shapes, sizes, but the internal character, the move, the attraction, the emotional attraction skills you need to have right now to make a man say, she the one, I'm going to marry her. I'm going to put my future in her hands. Remember, men test because their future is what they're protecting in their heart. So many of us have been listening to all kind of random things online. Yesterday I was talking to a girl, and I was watching and I was thinking, girl, you are lovely, you're beautiful, but ain't nobody gonna marry you. And one of the things with me is I don't really mince words. I tell it straight, not because I want to be mean, but because women, we don't tell each other the truth. Okay? Trust. We don't tell each other the truth. I was watching this reel, and this girl was being shown pictures of all these women. Some of them were they were quite overweight, some were, and then I think it was one woman and she was obese. And the girl was like, oh, she's beautiful. Oh, she's beautiful. And they were like, how about her now? Oh my gosh, she's stunning. Then the person who was asking the question said, yeah, she reminds me of you. And the girl was offended, right? So you were lying. And that's what we do with us girls. We lie to each other. We lie to each other. But as a coach, I don't have that privilege. My coaches and I, we don't have the privilege of lying to you. I've got to tell you if you're competitive or if you're not. I'm going to tell you if a man's going to marry you or he won't. And there's nothing you can tell me. And this particular girl was causing drama, and she thought she was behaving. She was even telling it to me with pride. And then I told him this, and I was like, girl, you are lovely, but no one's going to marry you. There's no way. And of course, she's ready to do the work, and I'm very proud of her, but she's so symbolic of what's out here. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have male clients, and I have a harder time getting them married than I do women. Because I can work on, number one, men take to the work like fish to water. They're very instruction based. They don't take offense. They just go with, if you tell them blue is blue, they usually, if they're hiring you and they're paying you, they're going to do it. Women, we will sometimes even go head to head because we don't like to be told, right? But men, finding wife material for guys who have lower standards than women is really hard. And I have to be honest, and I was saying this to my niece, I was like, marriageable women are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer. And what we're having is a lot of mean girls, a lot of angry women, a lot of unhealed women. And when I am dating with my guys, it's exhausting. I don't think we realize how far from our goddess energy we are. I don't think we realize. And so men are like, listen, I need to secure my sexual stability, and I need a woman around me. I need some feminine energy. But what a woman needs to be, I'm going to give her my future, and she could leave with half of it. She could break my heart and leave with half of it. The kind of she's worth it woman, they're just not there. What we're doing is going to therapy, girls, and just talking our feelings, but we're not actually transforming. We're not actually having identity shifts. We're not actually becoming. We're just talking to our therapist. And then when we've paid a lot of money for that therapist, then we come and say, I've done the work, I'm healed, I've been in therapy for 20 years, but you're still the same person, because you need to be coached into transformation. That's why therapists who are really committed to their work are becoming coaches. How many therapists are really good are now turning to coaching? Because coaching is transformational. Therapy is healing, is regulation. You're taught how to regulate your emotions, but you need a transformation. You need an identity shift. And that identity shift, there isn't like a wife identity. There's you as a wife. There's you as a wife. Wives are different. The role of a wife will change from the man and the woman and what they create. But the identity that you're holding does not attract a man to invest his future with you. It doesn't. And this is very hard for me to say, and my niece always gets upset with me when I say it. Because she's young and she wants to believe that the world will bend to her will. We are nowhere near the quality of woman we have right now on the marketplace. Is a far cry. One of my clients, and again, the men I work with are wealthy men, period. Not because I particularly go choosing them It's just what my world attracts. It's the world I live in. Okay. And even though I've had some who were not wealthy, and he said to me, Chengi, class, you just can't find it. You can find beauty, you can find fun, you can find sexy, you can even find nice, you can even find kind, but you can't find class. And I hate to break it to you girls, but I had to agree. But you see, there's a thing, we're trained into these things. It's not your fault if, I didn't even come to say all these things, but as I'm here, it's not your fault. Nobody taught you. You see, I'm Zimbabwean, and we have a rite of passage to womanhood. We have, it's probably true for some Africans, but when you hit puberty, your father's sisters come take you away, and they teach you all things sexual health, sexual hygiene, personal hygiene, femininity, how to conduct yourself around men, and they are the ones that vet men for you and with you, and they kind of do the journey with you. So when you meet a man, he doesn't meet your father. A man in my culture never meets the father until the day of the wedding, because his sisters are the ones monitoring the whole process, figuring out what kind of man he is, figuring out his thing, and they give him, because our fathers don't meet men who have not married us, okay? So with that, you are trained in the arts of femininity. You are trained in the art. But I understand that in the Western world, a lot of us don't get it. That's why I'm here. You know, I was talking to a Zimbabwean girl on a call, and she said, oh, you're Tete. And Tete means, you know, is that role I'm telling you about. That's that person who's my dad's sister. We call them Tete. And the Tetes will sit the girls down and talk to them the way I'm talking to you. So how I'm talking to you right now, that's how the elders, the aunties would talk to you. They would tell you the harsh truth. They'll teach you about men. They will, and the difference is with a Tete, you sit down and you listen, otherwise you get beat down, right? We don't have that. But in the Western world, you just get told about yourself, right? But it's not your fault. That's why God sent people like me. That's why God sent people like me to help you, hold your hand, and show you, because men are actually not that hard to understand. But if you are not aligned into your femininity, into your authenticity, into your majesty, into your glory, into your goddess energy, if you're not in alignment with who God says you are, okay, the disruption, the lack of alignment is very jarring to quality men. And I hear women say that I got married and I didn't need. Look, let's be honest. Some of these girls with rings, we're looking at your marriages and we're saying no thanks. It's the flex is not a marriage. The flex is quality marriage, pampered wife. Okay? We're trying to be pampered wives, cherished wives. Not these ones that, you know, he was dragged up the aisle, or all these things that we're doing, okay? This is why I teach you these things. This is why God sent me. That's why there's thousands of hours of content on my YouTube channel, thousands of hours of content here that will transform your life if you actually listen, attend to it. And that's why we've got the House of Swans. The House of Swans is where we can get into your business. Okay, that's why I want you in there, like you did last week. You finished the live, you join me in there. Go join the girls. It will change your life, okay? It will change your dating game. It's gonna put you on top. You're gonna join the plethora of brides on my books and women who are in relationships. And I have women who are like, I actually don't want to get married, but they're in wonderful, for whatever their reasons are, okay? Some women are now in amazing relationships. It's very difficult to be in the inner circle and just stay single for life. It's not gonna happen. Not on my watch. Not if you want a relationship, and not on my watch. But you have to be able to listen to the hard truths, because whether you like it or not, whether it offends you or not, the truth is the truth. The sun is going to shine in the morning and the moon is going to rise at night. And you can argue until you go yellow, blue, orange in the face. Men will be men and women will be women. And I don't care what the calendar says. I don't care if the calendar says it's 2000, and men will withhold commitment from women who fail their tests, who fail the loyalty test, who fail the authentic attraction test, who fail attitude tests. And you will fail if you do not commit to the work. And you're like, I don't need to perform for any man. That's fine, baby. That's fine. Just know that you're either going to marry a loser or you're never going to get married. That's it. Because men with no standards have no standards for you either. They have no standards for their lives. If a man is not holding you to a standard, if you're on a date and you don't feel, if you're not conscious that I am being vetted right now, as much as you are vetting him, and I'm not talking about anxiety. If you're with a man and and there's nothing about him that just, you can be whatever, you can do whatever, he's not taking you seriously. When he's not. A man who takes you seriously is going to come through with a lot of effort and a lot of investment, and then he's going to really watch you. He's going to put you in scenarios. He's going to observe how you handle small things in the same way you should be doing, by the way. The reason it's important for us to know that is we're not in charge of the relationship gate. We're not the relationship gatekeepers. We're the sexual gatekeepers. We determine when a guy gets laid or not. We are in charge completely 100%. He's in charge of whether you get married or not. He's in charge of whether you become committed or not. Unless you become that girl that gets on one knee and proposes. I mean, go at it if that's you, but you're not a black swan and I'd like you to leave, please, thank you. Right, we don't do that here. Oh, I'm so glad to see you too, my darling. Right? We don't do that here. But if you really, thank you, my darling. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Even though I'm in Europe at the moment, I'm not in the US. I spend so much time in the US, but I'm actually in Europe at the moment. So that's the loyalty test. Let's move on to the last one I'm going to talk about tonight, because I want to give you a chance to answer your questions. The next one is the freedom test. Freedom test. Okay. One of a man's top priorities. Let me know if you want me to do more tests or if you want me to talk about something else. I've got so many things I want to talk to you about before the end of the year and maybe into the new year. Maybe what I'll do is post the titles in the stories and you can vote on what you would like me to talk about. I want to talk about setting boundaries without losing connection. I want to talk about a few other things. Let me know if you'd like me to continue talking about these tests, okay? Okay, let's see, maybe I can cover the last one. Freedom test. And one of the biggest things that men need, desire, and fear, okay, one of the biggest fears of a high quality man, okay, because we only talk about those guys here, okay, test, okay, more tests, great, okay, great voting. One of the fears of quality men, because we only deal with those. Losers, we don't have time for, okay, we don't even attract them. They don't even come into our world. Ew. We have that energy that's like, get away from me energy, okay? But quality men, yes, those are the ones we talk about. They need their freedom. And one of the ways they test you is how you handle distance and space. Are you going to get triggered? Are you going to start giving him a lecture? Are you going to send him an essay, a dissertation about how you require consistency? And are you going to go crazy when he comes back? Are you going to lose your temper? Are you going to... No. What a quality woman does is set boundaries. We're going to talk about how to set boundaries while maintaining connection. I don't want to go into it right now, but you set boundaries. okay? And there are ways to do that in a high value way, all right? High value strategies, that's the course I've created. It's in the House of Swans. You can access it for your monthly membership, which is super cheap because it's Black Friday, okay? And you get 7 days free. So you can join, do those strategies and leave if you don't think you want to stay for anything else, okay? High value strategies is where I talk about setting boundaries without losing connection in a high value way. And dark feminine energy is also in the House of Swans. That's another one as well, okay? How to set boundaries with men in such a powerful way that they totally get the boundary without losing their connection or their respect, okay? That's how we handled that. But a man, your energy with a man, which is why feminine energy thrives when feminine energy is self-involved. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way, okay? Feminine energy is designed by God to be inward looking. Why? Because the woman has the womb. She has the spiritual portal. So we're not talking about babies, physical, natural babies. Every woman is a spiritual entity that has the ability to connect the unseen to the seen. Okay, it's manifested in a very obvious way in having children. That child exists in the spirit realm and manifests, but only through a woman. As you sit there, you are holding the keys of the earth. The earth lives in you. Nothing is birthed that is of worth unless it is birthed through a woman, okay? Now, we carry the seed of a man in order for us to procreate with him and to bring life on the earth. We need the seed of the man to do that. But remember, a man's value is external. A woman's value is internal. Masculine is outward, feminine is inward. Masculine is light, feminine is dark. Why do I say dark? Because all the things that are feminine are hidden. The vibration of the feminine, the way a man feels around the feminine, he can't describe it. He can't put words to it. It's a feeling. It's a feeling where he feels strong and powerful and when he's around the feminine, right? The feminine, everything, that's why I always say to guys who like to argue with me because they're yet to grow up, if you make a woman do for you what you do for her, I pay the bill, you pay the bill next week, okay? You are saying, I'm masculine, I want to see how much masculine is on the inside of you because you don't understand, okay? I wish more men would work with me, by the way, because I'm just here to help everybody, all right? You cannot measure, in the same way a woman cannot measure the quality of a man by how much feminine stuff he does for her. Oh, he sits and talks to me for 4 hours. He's such a wonderful guy. That's feminine stuff. He's not a wonderful guy because he sits and talks to you for hours. He's just, if he's wonderful, he's wonderful. But that is not a marker. In the same way as, oh, she paid for a weekend away. She's such a... No, that's a woman being masculine. That's not a marker, right? When a woman is in her feminine, every value she brings is intangible. It's just an energy, a force, a peace, a warmth, an ease that the feminine brings, a joy, a fluidity, a wisdom, a gravitas. The feminine cannot, you can't, it takes a lot to describe it because it's like the air. We're all breathing it. It's affecting the temperature. We can't see it. We can speak to the components, but feminine, which is why, girls, I'm harping on about healing, because you can never access your feminine if you are dealing with stuff, okay? You access your feminine by healing your mind, okay? Renewing your mind. That shall be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And processing your feelings in such a healthy way. Okay, and you need to be taught that. I want you to know that if I feel like I'm giving you all a slap, it's not because I'm angry. It's because you can be taught these things, babies. Like you can. These things can be learned. But you have to commit yourself to it. Please, stop being a lurker in the world of high value people. Be proactive, engage, join, do something. Because you can learn. And my girls are cleaning out. I'm going to tell you that right now. My girls are out here dating all the guys you dream of dating. That's just what it is. Okay. So back to, I'm going to end up ranting again. So back to that freedom. If a man's absence creates anxiety for you, you feel anxious, you feel angry, you feel disturbed, you're preoccupied with him. What's he doing? What's going on? We need to heal that first and foremost, but you're out of your feminine, because a feminine woman lives inside her body. She is guarding her womb. You are the bodyguard for your womb. You are supposed to live inside your body. You are supposed to live inside your feminine, because you are the caretaker of the womb. You are the caretaker. Why does a woman have to receive from a man in order to multiply? Because she cannot leave her womb to go out and get. Her womb is her sacred place. Her womb is where the intangible becomes tangible. Her womb. You have to learn to live in your body. You can't live in your body because your body keeps the trauma. So we have to take out the block so you can live in your body. And so when a man leaves, you go back home. You come back. Okay? You come back home, but we don't know how to come back home because we've all built home in other people's hearts, yeah? You meet a guy and he's amazing, he's fantastic, it triggers your every nerve, it makes your knickers wet, and you make home in him. You make him home. You are always home. And let me tell you something. When a man knows that you are home, he won't mistreat you. He won't abuse you, and he won't play games with you, because he knows that you will never outsource your value to him. He knows that whether he comes, whether he goes, whether he calls, whether he texts, whether he doesn't, whether he won't, you're going to be okay. That is what then triggers competition in a man. That's what then says, this woman, she's not like them. This woman is not going to come chasing after me. This woman is so in her body. If I don't move fast, if I don't act right, I'm going to lose her. And it's not a matter of to another man. It's when you have an aura about you, when you have mastered the art of coming back home. Okay, in the House of Swans, we're going to do feminine energy. That's the first class that you're going to do. Then you're going to do dark feminine energy. We'll talk about feminine energy. Okay, by the time you've done those courses, you are going to understand feminine energy. Light feminine energy, hidden feminine energy. And you're going to have an opportunity to ask me questions because I'm in there twice a week. And that is so important because I need you to understand that the feminine doesn't crave his presence. The feminine enjoys his presence. The feminine feels safer in his presence if he's a good man. The feminine receives his presence, okay? But the feminine does not need his presence to breathe. It is this self-fulfilling life force, okay? And just like men pursue us physically to have sex with us, so does the masculine energy. It is drawn to the feminine. The more high vibrational in your feminine energy you live, that means being in your body without the blocks of hurt and pain and yesterday's trauma and yesterday's disappointment. When you're living in this flow of I am enough, I matter, I am good. I'm good. It's like Sunday morning, baby. Okay, when you live in that flow, the masculine is intoxicated by you. But because we are so separated from our feminine, because we have to work and we have to do all the things, okay? And then no one taught us, remember? No one taught us. We had no tetes. We had no tetes to sit us down and teach us. We're just making it up, right? And so we don't even know that we need to do this work. But like I said, that's why we're here. Me and all the other coaches that God has sent to help us, right? Once you work on that, you will never have to chase another man. It breaks my heart when black swans chase men. Like, do you know who you are? If you knew your true identity in God, if you knew who God says you are, really knows it, not and the Bible says in Romans, no. When you meet the you that God created from the foundations of the earth, that he breathed life into, that he ordained and sent, when you meet her, she doesn't chase any man. She doesn't. Because she lives in the space where her and God live. Because she, the woman, is a co-laborer with God. The woman is a co-laborer with God. God and the woman create life. God and the man govern life. God and the man lead life. God and the man guard it and govern it. God and the masculine govern and guard. But God and woman create life. Why are you chasing a man? Let him have his space. Let him have his freedom. Stop trying to manage him. Stop trying to control him. Because that's where so many of us are failing the test and being sidelined as good time only, casual. I don't really want her, but I don't know if I can do better. That's where all that's coming from. And you can't fake the test, by the way. Hi, Shanti Shy. You can't fake it. You can't fake the funk. A man smells insecurity a mile away. Now, whilst we heal, whilst we work on our mindsets, whilst we work on our attitudes, whilst we work on all of these things, there are things that you can say and do that will help along the way. There's certain behaviors that you can adopt that will help along the way. Okay? And this is the dating strategies where you can step into the mind or the body of this feminine, beautiful, godlike, God made in the image of and likeness of God version of yourself. Okay? That version of you that looks like Jesus, that looks perfected, that has been washed, that version of you that you're being transformed into. You can learn to behave like her before you are her. Okay? You can learn to behave like her before you are her. And I am saying to you that you don't have to be fully healed, because we're never going to be fully healed. But you don't have to be all the way healed before a man can feel like, okay, she's safe. Because all these tests, honestly, they're safety tests for men. Men have watched their fathers make the bad decisions. They've seen their fathers, the good fathers, not the weirdos, okay? They've seen them live through difficult relationships. They've seen their fathers die slow deaths. They've seen their fathers go through hell and be unappreciated. They just don't want them for themselves. Just like we've seen our mothers broken, we've seen our mothers suffer, we don't want it for ourselves. Quality people have made up their minds that they will not repeat history. And as a result, they are moving in intentionality, they are moving consciously, they're moving in awareness. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. One question. Let's see if we have a question. And I want to see if I can answer real quick because I need to be in House of Swans in 5 minutes. And Coach Nadine, you might need to go to House of Swans for me, please, and get that started if you don't mind. Thank you. Because I don't want to. Does him inviting me to visit him attest? We have 2 hours far from each other, but he always asks me to go. Is this, how long have you guys been dating? Are you dating? I don't know if I'll see the answer before I have to go. Let's see. Or if she's even still here, because there was a question earlier. Okay, so you shouldn't travel to a man until he has made a commitment to you and he's decided to be exclusive and he said, look, will you be my girlfriend, blah, 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 then you can travel to him. It's just not high value to do so before. If there's special circumstances to your situation, join the House of Swans. We can have that conversation. But that's the golden rule. So yes. Can I also say that men test us subconsciously? It's not all conscious. It's not just like how we test them, by the way, because we test men all the time. But if you're a quality woman, it's usually subconscious and you have a few protocols. Just basically the way you live tests a man. The standards you have test a man, right? So our tests are different. We conduct them differently. But with men, some of these are subconscious. A man will beg you for intimacy that he knows he has no right getting. He will beg, he will push, and he knows, I hope she says no. I know it's frustrating, but that's where your personal standard for who you are is. If a man says, come and see me, he might really like the idea of Deliveroo, deliver a girlfriend, deliver feminine energy. He might like it, but he's going to judge you after. So do things that are going to be of service to you. How to determine if he's needing space and not ghosting or doesn't like you. When you are healed and in your feminine, whether it's ghosting, whatever, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Your energy, like I described earlier, when you are in your full feminine and you are healed, and when I say full feminine, I mean dark feminine and light feminine, and you are healed, whether he goes or comes, what does it matter if he needs space or he's ghosting? What is your standard? What do you need? It's data for you. It's data. Do you want a guy who leaves you confused? Like you're asking, is it space? A man should always have his space. A man must always have his space. Whether you want it for a day, whether you want it, go. I will determine if I will accept you back. I will decide based on where I am, what I want out of my life, whether I will accept you back. Because men always come back. So it doesn't matter. Why do you need to know if he just needs space or he's ghosting? He's gone. He's not in your orbit. And he didn't have the respect to take time out without saying, I need to get busy at work. Because most guys will be like, I've got this big project, but they're just taking time. That's what they're doing. They'll be like, oh, I've got this big project at work and it's really, I'm going to be off grid for a little bit and I'll be back, or whatever. They'll give some sort of excuse, but he didn't even have the courtesy, just vamoosed. Let him go. And if that's hard for you, that's where the work comes in. Oh. How do you reply to a man that you were dating for a few weeks, disappears for 1.5 weeks, then returns and says, oh, sorry, I was busy? This is a conversation because I need to know more about him. I need to know more about him. I don't know what the nature of the relationship was. I don't know what happened. And I can't tell you what to do. One of the things you need to understand about me as a coach is I'm not here to make decisions for your heart or for your spirit. I'm here to guide you according to who you are, where you are, and what you want. If you are a girl who has an anxious attachment style, this is probably the only guy you've dated in the last 3 months, I don't even want to hear it because you're not serving your high purpose. You're not honoring yourself. That's why you're clinging to the first person and now you want to know what you should do. If you're dating properly, if you're dating 3-4 guys at the same time and conducting yourself appropriately, making yourself available, you would by now have connected to another guy while he was off farming fool. By now you'd be talking to James, who's actually making an effort. The only reason you're there wondering what I should be doing after one is, what does he come back to? The same girl that was waiting by the phone hoping he'd come back? What does he come back to? Because if he came back to a girl who has 3-4 other dates, I had a client, she really had a hard time multiple dating, and I know it's hard. I hate it myself. And she was really having a hard time multiple dating, and she really liked this one guy. And they went on a second date and he was pulling out the stops, and then he started coming on and doing disrespectful things. You know, she said to me, she was like, oh, well, I did like him, but I've got Johnny taking me here tomorrow and Simon taking me there. And I was like, exactly. That is why I tell you girls to date other guys. Because the reason why you're out here, oh, have I got spice? What is it? Is it spice or not? Is it, should I answer him after in the 1.5 weeks? What were you doing? Waiting for him? That's why you're confused. Because he shouldn't come back and go to the front of the line, because yesterday's price is not today's price. Somebody else is pulling out the stop. Somebody else is competing for me. Somebody else is trying to get my attention. Somebody else is saying good morning. Somebody else is planning dates. Even if I don't fancy that somebody else, that is the energy, the abundant energy of the feminine. The feminine is never supposed to have scarcity. That's a masculine situation, not a feminine situation. Jella Ford said, men are communicating to us all the time. We just need to listen to what he's saying as to what we hope he's saying. Absolutely. As opposed to what he's saying. Absolutely. Girls, like I said earlier, this is little league stuff. We can no longer play in the little leagues and expect to grab a man's attention. Not in this day and age. Not with OnlyFans. Not with the current climate. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for over a decade, coached and worked with over 6,000 women. And I am telling you, this is not the time to play little league. It's not the time to kind of know about femininity, kind of know about dating. You better consider, if you want a relationship, if you want a marriage, if you want to be that girl, treat your relationship like getting a freaking degree. The way you wanted that job, the way you wanted that career, that's what it's going to take. One of the girls, I was on a podcast and she was like, your courses are like getting a degree in college. I'm like, yes, because that's what it takes. You're playing. Stop playing in your own face. Stop playing yourself and get with the program. And for those of you who are already in the House of Swans, I'm going to meet you in there, okay? And we're going to do some real work on that side. For those of you who want to at some point, you will always be welcome. And because we are, because those girls, they're going to win. Because on my watch, that's what happens, okay? Because I am anointed for this work. Jesus said, I have come to preach the good news. I have come to preach the good news. I am anointed. I am sent to this generation for you so that we can reestablish the family. My assignment is with the family. And why is the family important to God? Because his kingdom is built on the foundation of the family. And why does the enemy want to destroy the family? Because the kingdom cannot stand without the family. So I am here to establish the family, but only those who are willing. I'm not going to force you, okay? You've got to be willing to co-labor with the Holy Spirit for your destiny. Because some of you are sitting here listening to me and you have a word over your lives. You have a word about your family. You have a word about your husband. But you think you're going to wait. Something the Holy Spirit said to me. He said, my children are waiting, but they're not preparing. They're like the 5 foolish virgins as opposed to the 5 wise virgins. All I'm going to say is, if you don't know what that means, that's okay. I'm talking to those I'm talking to, okay? The 5 wise virgins, they're in the House of Swans right now waiting for me. The 5 foolish virgins are going to be doing what they're doing, or God is going to send them somewhere else, okay? Because that's what's up. You've got to prepare. You've got to prepare for marriage. You have to prepare for relationships. Having a vagina does not make you worthy to be a wife. I cannot say it enough. You must prepare. Just like you prepare to be a lawyer, a doctor. You don't just show up and say, hire me in this legal firm because I'm special and because I'm pretty and I've always wanted to be a lawyer. Everybody's got the dream of being a bride. Not everybody gets to be one. That's what's up. But if you prepare, if you're like the 5 wise virgins and you're like, God, I believe your word over my life, and I'm going to begin to prepare like Esther did. I'm going to begin to prepare like like for the king that you've spoken to me, instead of just waiting, complaining before God, going to church on New Year's Eve, stamping your feet, giving an offering. Don't start with me. God already heard your cries and your prayers a long time ago, but you have married ignorance and you're sticking to it. Whenever God is about to move, he sends a person into your life. Before he moved Israel out of bondage in Egypt, he sent Moses. He says to his people, I've heard the afflictions of my people and I've heard their cry and I have come down. What do you mean? What do you mean you've come down? What he meant is, I met a man called Moses. I showed him a burning bush and I told him, go set my people free. If you want the deliverance, look for the person God sends. God will never deliver you without a person. And when God sends that person and you act like it's an option and you're left out in the cold, that's on you, girls. But I love you to bits and pieces. And I know you're here because you love yourself. You love the self that God has created. You love God and you are committed to your future, because 2026 has got to bring stability to the family, has got to bring more marriages, more children raised under godly marriage, okay? We need the family to be strong again. And you ladies are who God has handpicked, okay? For this assignment. So, let's do it. Let's win. Let's get you ladies into healthy relationships, because I don't want you divorced like I was. I don't want that. You must not go through what I went through. You must marry well, stay married, die in that marriage because you want to, not because you're forced to, okay? So, I love you to bits and pieces. And I'll see you again, maybe on Tuesday. Keep an eye out. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, YouTube. I love you, girls. I didn't want to tell the Instagram girls, but you're my favorites. You really are, because YouTube is where it started. But I gotta go. And I love you to bits and pieces. Bye-bye.